We find ourselves at a really challenging moment in history where the liberalization that we've seen, freedom of speech, freedom of association, growing intellectual freedom around the world, has really been put into reverse. There are all sorts of climates globally where we're seeing the rise of authoritarian leaders, the growth of populism that is silencing people's independent voices. And some of that really affects people who sit in university environments, which are really the bastions of free speech and intellectual debate and deliberation. And so it's been a part of Stanford's history for 5 or 6 decades to really see ourselves as an institution that can provide a home and a safe space for intellectuals and scholars who no longer find it possible for them to safely participate as members of an academic community.
Some of the circumstances that have made scholars endangered and brought them to Stanford date back to the early 20th century. In 1934, the chair of the Stanford Physics Department invited a young physicist by the name of Felix Bloch to join the department. Bloch went on to become one of the world's preeminent physicists, and in 1952 he received the Nobel Prize in Physics for his work on nuclear magnetic induction, which led to the development of the MRI. The stories of the various endangered scholars who found their way to Stanford are remarkable, and I wish that I could share more details about the stories of individuals and their experiences. Some have agreed to be interviewed for this story, but for others, it actually wouldn't be safe. And one of the strengths and keys of the way that the Scholar Rescue Fund operates is that it protects the identities of the scholars.
I found myself in a position to take a stand against the autocratization of the government in Turkey under the President Erdogan. And as a result of that, I was targeted by certain pro-government columnists and I was dismissed from my position. It was immensely valuable. It helped me get back to my research and use the Stanford resources, both in terms of workshops, facilities like library to begin with, all those events where the most up-to-date research was presented, and even taking your mind off of what you had been through and coming here and going back to that, updating yourself now, being back on track. These were extremely helpful.